After selling her world for his $1 million mortgage, she discovered a life-changing secret. Claire sat on the edge of her bed, clutching a faded photograph of her husband, his arm wrapped lovingly around her shoulder, their smiles lighting up the photo like the sun breaking through a storm. That was before everything changed. The laughter that once filled their charming Ohio home had dimmed to a whisper as she battled the crushing weight of a suffocating mortgage left behind after his sudden passing. With each envelope that slipped through the mailbox, each bill that piled up, she could feel the vibrant colors of her life dulling to an uninviting gray. Her two children, 10-year-old Lily and 8-year-old Jake, darted through the small garden, their joy a stark contrast to Claire's heart, which felt heavy with despair. She worked tirelessly, juggling 2 jobs just to keep the lights on and food on the table, but it was never enough. Everyday objects, each steeped in memories, began disappearing, sold for pennies while she struggled to keep the roof over their heads. Each sale chipped away a piece of her heart, leaving an aching void where happy memories once lived. Yet, in the backdrop of this storm, the town rallied around her. Mr. Thompson, the beloved elderly war veteran, often appeared at her door with a warm casserole and stories of love and loss. "Keep your chin up, Claire," he'd say, his voice a comforting balm against her worries. But it felt as though his words were fading echoes in her ever-darkening world. Claire was drowning in self-doubt and financial fears. Then one day, as she rummaged through the attic, searching for anything to sell, she stumbled upon a dusty box tucked away in the corner. Heart racing, she opened it to reveal old letters and faded photographs that transported her back in time. There, among bits of their past, lay an unopened letter addressed to her late husband. As she unfolded it, her breath caught. The letter hinted at a lucrative land project, an opportunity tied to their family that had long been forgotten. Hope flickered within her just as desperation tightened its grip. Could this hidden legacy be a way to patch the rips in their fragile lives? Excitement bubbled with trepidation. As her heart fluttered with the possibilities, doubts crept in. Was it right to chase riches by unearthing family secrets? A part of her resisted, but the ticking clock of financial insecurity urged her to consider it. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just as Claire began to see a faint light at the end of the tunnel, she overheard Lily and Jake whispering in the hallway. "Do you think Mom still loves us?" Lily's voice trembled with uncertainty. Pain shot through Claire's heart at the thought of her children questioning her love. The laughter that had once danced through the house sank deeper into silence. Was she truly risking the bond they shared in exchange for a bright facade of stability? As Claire wrestled with her choices, she felt the unseen barrier between them stretching wider. Would she choose the road to financial salvation or fight to rebuild the familiar love that seemed to slip further away each day? The decision ahead loomed larger with each passing moment, the stakes higher than ever, leaving her heart aching and her future uncertain. The next morning, the sunlight filtered through the leaves outside, casting playful shadows on the floor. Claire stared at the letters scattered on her kitchen table, the unopened one calling to her like a siren song. She picked it up, her hands shaking slightly, and read the name at the top again, Thomas Sinclair. Her husband's grandfather had dabbled in land plots back in the day, but this particular project seemed more than mere nostalgia. Could it really be tied to something bigger? Something that might save them? With a deep breath, Claire sat down, pen in hand. Determination flooded through her veins. This wasn't just about her anymore, it was about Lily and Jake. She could either stay trapped in an unyielding cycle or fight for a chance to give them a better life. Thoughts of her children, their teary eyes, fueled her resolve. She couldn't let them grow up in a house filled with silence and doubt. As she drafted a message to a local historian known for their work on land records, Claire felt a mix of anxiety and excitement. With every word, she imagined a way forward. She could finally carve a path out of the shadows. Just as she sealed the envelope, the sound of tiny footsteps interrupted her thoughts. Jake rushed in, dirt smudged from playing outside. "Mom, can we go to the park?" He blustered with a smile that momentarily lifted the weight in Claire's chest. "Of course, sweetheart," she replied, forcing a smile as warmth spread across her heart. She grabbed the keys from the counter, ready to embrace a few hours away from the looming worries, if only for a moment. They needed this together, to remember joy amidst the chaos. At the park, laughter and shouts filled the air. Lily showed off her latest cartwheeling skills, while Jake chased after butterflies, his laughter ringing like bells in Claire's ears. Lost in their innocent fun, Claire felt a glimmer of hope, a feeling she desperately clung to. This was living, not merely surviving. However, a part of her mind drifted back to the letter. She had something pressing to uncover. When they returned home, Claire found courage she didn't know she had. After tucking Lily and Jake into bed, she returned to the kitchen, ready to dive into research. The flickering light above her cast long shadows on the walls as she pored over local history books and scrolled through online archives. Suddenly, the phone rang, pulling Claire from her thoughts. It was the historian. Her heart raced as she answered, eager to hear what they had discovered regarding the family land project. "Miss Sinclair, I found some remarkable details," the voice on the line said, "and I think you'll want to come down to the county office as soon as possible." Her heart pounded with anticipation. What had she stumbled upon? "Can you tell me more?" Claire asked, her breath catching in her throat. "You'll want to see this in person. It's tied to your family in ways you can't yet imagine." As Claire ended the call, fear knotted into her stomach. What if this newfound opportunity led her down a dark path? But the prospect of change beckoned, sparkling like a distant star in the night sky. She would find out how deep this rabbit hole went, even as doubts crawled back in. There was so much at stake. Would she risk everything, or find a way to secure a future for her children without losing herself? With unsteady breaths, she sensed the weight of the unknown pressing against her. One thing was for sure, her life was about to change, and she had to be ready for whatever came next. But the question lingered, was she prepared to face the truth, no matter the cost? Claire hardly slept at night. The historian's words replayed in her mind, like a haunting melody that wouldn't fade away. She stared at the ceiling, the rough texture of the plaster transforming into maps of dreams and fears. What awaited her at the county office? Would it be more ancient relics of a forgotten family legacy, or a truth that would shake her to the core? Morning arrived, seeping in through the curtains, but the warmth of the sun could not chase away her chill. Heart racing, she brewed a pot of coffee, filling the kitchen with its rich aroma. This ordinary task felt monumental, as if each step she took brought her closer to an unknown destiny. Today was different. Today could change everything. After a quick breakfast, she dressed in a simple blue sundress, a color that had always reminded her of summer skies. With one last glance in the mirror, she straightened her shoulders and whispered, "You've got this." The words felt like armor, shielding her trembling resolve. Climbing into the car, Claire drove toward the county office with Jake's excited chatter echoing in her ears. He was excited to be dropped off at his friend's house for a playdate, unaware of the storm brewing in his mother's heart. As she pulled up to the office, her palms grew slick against the steering wheel. She inhaled slowly, reminding herself that she was doing this for Lily and Jake. She parked and stepped out, the building looming before her like a giant waiting to reveal its secrets. The lobby was filled with the soft murmur of voices and the rustle of papers. Claire approached the reception desk, her stomach fluttering. "I'm here to see I called about a family land project," she stammered. The receptionist looked up, a knowing smile on her face. "Ah, yes. Miss Sinclair, right? Please follow me." Claire followed, her feet heavy with anticipation as they walked down a narrow hallway lined with pale blue walls. Once inside the small office, the historian, an older man with kind eyes and a gentle smile, stood by a large table covered with documents. "Thank you for coming, Miss Sinclair," he said, his voice calm yet urgent. "We have much to discuss." Claire took a seat, her heart thumping louder than ever. He shuffled through a stack of yellowing papers and handed her a faded map. "This belongs to your grandfather Thomas," he said. "It outlines plot lines and mentions something peculiar." Her hands trembled as she reached for the map. The details seemed to shimmer with possibility. He pointed at a specific location. "Do you see this area? It was once considered prime farmland, but more it was referred to as the Heartland in an old ledger." "Heartland?" she echoed. "Yes. There's rumored to be something significant there, perhaps a hidden resource. With modern developments, it could be more valuable than you can imagine." Claire's mind raced. Could this be the answer she had been hoping for? "But there's a catch," the historian continued, his expression shifting into concern. "Before you pursue any engagement with this land, you'll need to address some complicated family ties. It seems your grandfather may have had some disagreements with partners that need to be resolved first." Claire felt the weight of that revelation settle heavily on her heart. "What kind of disagreements?" "Land disputes. It might be tangled with legal issues you weren't aware of," he replied. "But it's crucial to act quickly. The longer you wait, the more complicated things can become." She nodded slowly, doubt flooding her mind. A family legacy filled with contention. Had it all been buried for a reason? It felt like a doorway was opening, one that could lead her to salvation but also into treacherous waters. "This could change everything," she whispered. But was she ready to untangle this past, potentially bringing more chaos to her family? Claire left the office, the map still clutched tightly in her hands. With each step, she could feel the hopes and fears swirling around her like a storm. As she got into her car, a thought struck her like a thunderclap: if she pursued this, would she uncover her family's truth, or would it unravel the very fabric of her life? Turning the key in the ignition, she knew she stood at a crossroads. Whatever decision lay ahead, she had to make it count. But first, she had to face one undeniable question: how far was she willing to go for her family's future? With the map still clutched in her hands, Claire sat in her car, the engine humming gently beneath her. The weight of her grandfather's land felt heavy in the air, almost tangible. What if the Heartland was more than just a patch of dirt? What if it held echoes of her family's past, shadows of secrets waiting to be uncovered? A sudden rush of emotion washed over her. Hope mingled with fear, the blend sharp as a knife. As she drove away from the office, a thought gnawed at her: what would she have to sacrifice in order to uncover the truth? Would she be strong enough to confront whatever lay hidden beneath the surface? Stopping at a red light, she glanced at the map again, its faded corners whispering stories of long-gone summers and laughter that used to fill the air. Families once thrived on that land, and now it felt like those voices were beckoning her, urging her to return. The thought filled her with determination. Once home, she parked the car and took a deep breath before stepping inside. Jake was sprawled on the living room rug, his blocks arranged in a perfect tower, while Lily was in the kitchen, humming softly as she prepared lunch. The joyful sights and sounds of her family grounded Claire, reminding her of why she had ventured into the depths of her family's history. She wanted a future for Jake, a legacy he could be proud of, something he could build upon instead of walking away from. "Hey, how did it go?" Lily called out, her smile bright. Claire hesitated, the map still hidden in her pocket. "It was interesting. I think we might have a chance to change things for the better." "What do you mean?" Lily asked, turning to face her fully, noticing the cloud of uncertainty hanging over her sister. Claire paused, weighing her words. "I found something about grandfather's land, something that could really impact us." Lily set down the spoon, a twinkle of curiosity in her eyes. "Like what?" "It's called the Heartland, and there's rumored to be something significant there, something we might be able to utilize, but it also comes with complications." Claire's heart raced as the implications sank in. She didn't want to burden her sister with the full weight of it yet. Lily frowned, sensing the deeper layers of Claire's apprehension. "What kind of complications?" "Family disagreements, legal disputes, unresolved ties. I just don't know if we should dig deeper." The responsive silence caught in the air felt oppressive. Lily walked over, placing a reassuring hand on Claire's shoulder. "Maybe this is the chance we've been waiting for. If there's value, we could help Jake build a future. We can figure this out together." The warmth of her sister's trust wrapped around Claire like a comfort blanket. But could they unravel the tangled mess without tearing the family apart? The thought lodged itself firmly in her mind as the clock ticked softly in the background. Suddenly, Jake called from the other room, his laughter bubbling over like a fresh spring. "Mom, can you come play?" Before she could decide, Claire felt a stirring within her. "Sure, buddy," she responded, forcing a smile as she took one last glance at the folded map before tucking it safely back into her pocket. As the playful chaos of blocks and giggles surrounded her, the duality of her situation clashed within. This was a pivotal moment, and beneath the surface, turmoil brewed. What if pursuing the truth meant tearing apart the fragile peace they had fought so hard for? Later that night, as Claire lay in bed listening to the soft snores of Jake, her thoughts spiraled. She knew one thing: the Heartland held mysteries that called to her, but the price of uncovering those secrets felt like a heavy burden. Could she balance the dreams of the future and the weight of the past? As sleep finally began to pull her under, one question echoed insistently in her thoughts: would the truth bring her family closer together, or push them further apart? And what if she wasn't prepared for what she would find? Claire woke to the soft light streaming through her window, a new day holding whispers of promise and tension alike. The events of yesterday surged back into her consciousness, the map still hidden in her pocket, its secrets like a coiled spring ready to unleash. She shook off the remnants of sleep, knowing she had to face the day with purpose. Jake was already awake, his small frame bouncing in the kitchen as he reached for cereal on the counter, sending a few colorful flakes to the floor. Lily was tidying up, her laughter bursting in bright waves as she playfully scolded him. Claire smiled at the sight, but a knot of uncertainty twisted within her. She was pulled toward the laughter, yet a shadow hung over her heart. After breakfast, Claire sat with a cup of coffee, staring at the map spread out on the table before her. Her fingers traced the lines formed by decades, her family's roots etched deep in the land, a legacy shrouded in both beauty and potential peril. She wished she could simply ignore the call of the Heartland. But she couldn't. "Claire." Lily's voice broke through her thoughts, soft but probing. "Are you okay? You seem distant." Claire's heart flipped. Should she share the raw fear that settled inside her? "I'm just thinking about the Heartland." Lily nodded, the affirmation of understanding shining in her eyes. "We can tackle whatever is out there, you know. We're a team. You don't have to carry this alone." It felt good to hear those words, yet a pang of anxiety shot through her. How could she burden her sister with the fear of what lay ahead? Life feels fragile right now. What if opening that door only leads to chaos? What if it tears our family apart? A contemplative silence followed, both sisters grappling with what they couldn't say. Eventually, Lily reached across the table, her hand enveloping Claire as, "Whatever it takes, we will figure this out. Remember Mom and Dad? They faced their own challenges, yet they always found a way back to each other." Lily's words wrapped around Claire like a warm blanket. She took a deep breath, summoning courage as a new thought sparked a way to approach the heartland that would keep their family intact. "Maybe I could go alone first just to scope things out. If it's as significant as I think, then I can share it with you afterward." "Alone?" Lily's brows furrowed in concern. "Are you sure that is a good idea? It could be risky." "I have to try." Claire felt certainty burning within her. "If there is something there that could help us, or even bring closure, I owe it to our family to find out." With reluctant acceptance, Lily released her grip. "Promise me you'll be careful. And let me know the minute you find something important." "Promise," Claire replied, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation wash over her. She was stepping into a world unknown, a potential storm ahead, but she kept reminding herself of one fundamental truth: this was for Jake. The rest of the day blurred by in a haze of preparations. Packing essentials, preparing herself mentally, it was time. Claire watched the sunlight fade, colors spilling into glorious sunset hues. She would leave at dawn, the world still shrouded in a sleepy hush. That night, as she lay in bed, the soft drumming of rain began against the window, its rhythm matching her racing heart. Deep within, she could feel the churn of conflicting emotions: hope, fear, determination. Could she navigate this journey without losing herself in it? Sleep did not come easily. With every heartbeat echoed the resounding question: what awaited her in the heartland? As she drifted into a restless sleep, her dreams whirled with images of her family, the expanse of land, and a distant voice screaming for redemption. Would she find what she was looking for? Or would some secrets be better left buried? The dawn broke with a quiet resolve, the air crisp and fresh as Claire gathered her things in silence. The world felt different today, charged with an energy she couldn't quite name. She glanced at Jake, still peacefully asleep, the sunlight casting a warm glow over his little form. A mix of sadness and resolve swelled in her chest as she considered the path ahead. After a quick breakfast that felt heavy in her stomach, Claire slipped the map into her jacket pocket, feeling its texture against her skin, a constant reminder of her mission. She exchanged one last look with Lily, who stood in the doorway, expression a mixture of pride and worry. "Be safe, Claire," Lily called softly. "I'll be waiting for your call." With a nod, Claire stepped outside. The cool air invigorated her, pushing the lingering doubts from her mind. She focused on the road ahead, a winding path leading her to the heartland. Each mile felt like a departure from one world and an entry into another. Driving through the familiar landscape, her thoughts roamed over every memory tied to the land. The stories her parents had shared around campfires danced vividly in her mind. Each tree, every hill had its own tale to tell, and now, they beckoned her forward. Would the heartland still hold those same stories, or would they yield new, unsettling truths? As she reached the last stretch before the heartland, Claire's heart began to pound. The trees loomed larger, shadows stretching across the path like fingers ready to grasp her, pulling her into unknown depths. She felt as if she were being watched, every rustle in the underbrush sending a thrill of anxiety through her. Finally, she arrived at the old farmhouse, the heart of it all. It stood weathered yet proud, framing memories within its walls. Claire stepped out of the car, feeling the earth under her feet, grounding her as she approached. The door creaked open at her touch as if recognizing her presence. Inside, everything was just as she remembered, the scent of aged wood, the soothing hum of silence wrapped around her like a familiar blanket. But it was also unnerving. The air felt thick, charged with unspoken words and secrets resting just out of reach. She set her things down and began to explore, each room tugging on her heartstrings. The kitchen still held the faintest trace of her mother's lavender and lemon scent. Claire could almost see her there, humming as she prepared meals. She shook off the feeling, focusing on her task. Sifting through the drawers, she searched for anything that might reveal the past documents, letters, anything that could offer clarity. Hours slipped away as she rummaged through the remnants of those who came before her. Then, she found it. Nestled beneath a stack of yellowed papers in the study was a journal, its cover cracked and faded. Heart racing, Claire opened it, the pages whispering stories of love, loss, and strife. She could already sense that some of those pages held answers to questions she hadn't yet even thought to ask. But just as she started to read, a sound echoed from outside, a crunching noise, leaves shifting underfoot. Instinct surged through her. She wasn't alone. Claire's heart raced as she shut the journal, her breath hitching in her throat. Who was out there? Was someone following her? Suddenly, every worst fear surged to the forefront of her mind. What if this journey opened the door to something much darker, something her family had fought to keep hidden? She crept to the window, heart pounding, desperate to catch a glimpse of the intruder. Would she have the strength to face whatever lay in wait? Or had she unintentionally opened a Pandora's box that would change everything she believed about her family? Claire pressed her face against the cool glass, straining her eyes to see past the trees. Her heart thumped violently in her chest, each beat echoing a warning in her mind. The crunching sounds continued, accompanied now by a whisper of voices. A flicker of movement caught her eye. She squinted, trying to make sense of the shadows just beyond the tree line. A figure emerged, hesitant and barely visible behind the thick trunks. Claire held her breath, her mind racing through possibilities. Was it someone from her family's past? A neighbor? Or something more sinister? The figure retreated slightly, then moved again, this time closer to the farmhouse. Panic surged in her veins. She was alone, and she had no idea who this person was or what they wanted. Stay calm, she whispered to herself. You've got this. Claire stepped back from the window and turned on her heel, glancing around the room. If she needed to protect herself, she ought to find something. A heavy book, a broom, anything. But the stillness of the farmhouse felt suffocating, as though the walls were closing in on her. Suddenly, the front door creaked open, wide enough for someone to step inside. Claire's breath quickened, fear flooding her senses. She ducked behind the large wooden table, heart racing like a wild animal. Every creak of the floorboard sent shivers down her spine. Hello. A voice called softly, breaking through the thick silence like a knife. It was a man's voice, low and gentle, yet it stirred an ancient instinct to flee. Is anyone home? Claire peered around the edge of the table. The figure from outside stepped into the light filtering through the dusty windows. He was tall, with a weathered face and kind eyes. There was something disarming about him, but the unease remained. Claire. He continued, scanning the room. It's me, Luke. The name sent a jolt through her. Luke, the boy from her childhood. They had shared summers at this very farmhouse, running through the fields with laughter spilling from their mouths. She hadn't seen him in years. Memories rushed back like waves crashing over her, but the emotions were complicated, warmth tinged with the chill of uncertainty. Luke? Claire stepped out from her hiding spot, her voice hoarse with disbelief. What are you doing here? He stepped further into the room, the sunlight catching the dust motes swirling around him. I heard you were back. I wanted to check on you and your family's place. Claire felt a mixture of relief and confusion wash over her. She hadn't expected to see him, let alone run into someone from her past when all she wanted was to uncover her family's secrets alone. Everything it's just as it was, she said hesitantly, fighting to maintain her composure. But I'm not sure everything is fine. Luke furrowed his brow, concern etching lines across his forehead. What do you mean? Before Claire could answer, the journal slipped from her pocket, landing with a soft thud against the floor. Luke's gaze flickered to it. What is that? In that moment, Claire felt the weight of the journal pressing against her chest. Its pages held stories that could change everything she knew about her family, and now, they lay at Luke's feet. Just something I found, she stammered, her mind racing. Did she dare share this burden with him? Or would it open yet another door that should remain shut? The tension hung heavy in the air, and Claire couldn't shake the feeling that this was the moment where everything could shift. Would she embrace this connection with Luke amidst her unraveling world, or would she bury herself deeper into the secrets of her family? Questions swirled like leaves in the autumn wind, each more pressing than the last. And deep down, she knew there were answers waiting, not just in her family's past but in the connection she once shared with Luke. What was she ready to reveal? Claire had to decide quickly. Just then, a loud noise outside shattered her thoughts, sending both of them racing to the window. A dark figure scuttled through the trees, vanishing into the thick brush. What was that? Claire whispered, heart in her throat. Luke turned to her, his eyes serious. I don't know, but we need to find out. Together. And just like that, Claire realized she wasn't as alone as she thought. But would that make the journey lighter or heavier? Claire's heart still raced as the figure disappeared into the trees. The eeriness of the moment hung over them like a heavy fog. What if it's someone dangerous? She whispered, her voice trembling. Luke stepped closer, his presence grounding. We can't just sit here. Whatever it is, whoever it is, we need to know. Claire bit her lip, uncertainty coursing through her. Memories of their childhood adventures felt so distant now. They had played in these woods, climbing trees and escaping imaginary monsters. Yet here they were, faced with a frightening reality, and now the stakes felt all too real. Okay, she finally said, steeling herself. But we need to be careful. With a flicker of determination in his eyes, Luke nodded. They ventured outside, the cool air striking their faces, a stark contrast to the warmth of the farmhouse. The world felt different now, shadows looming larger, every rustle and sigh amplifying her anxieties. Do we have a plan? Claire whispered, glancing sideways at Luke as they stepped past the old porch. He paused, thoughtful. Let us start in the direction the figure went. We'll keep an eye out for anything unusual. Claire nodded, trotting alongside him as they moved cautiously through the trees. Each step felt like crossing a threshold into the unknown. The familiar scent of pine enveloped her, but beneath it lay an ominous undercurrent. Silence clung to the forest, save for the occasional snap of twigs underfoot. Luke led the way, his broad shoulders set, scanning the area for any sign of movement. Claire's hands were clammy, a persistent knot tightening in her gut. What do you think you'll find? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know, he admitted. But something doesn't feel right. This place has always held secrets, maybe that figure is part of that. Claire's breath hitched at the mention of secrets. Her thoughts drifted back to the journal in her pocket, its weight serving as a constant reminder of the answers she sought. As they delved deeper into the trees, they reached a clearing that revealed an old, rusted gate, half hidden in the underbrush. The sight sent a chill racing down her spine. Claire had never seen this gate, yet it felt achingly familiar, a part of her family's history that was tucked away, lost among the shadows. Look, Luke said quietly, nudging her. Do you think it leads to the old part of the property? Claire stepped closer, her heart pounding. It could, but why would it be hidden like this? They exchanged glances, and in that moment, a newfound sense of purpose ignited between them. Here lay another doorway to the past, a key that might unlock hidden truths about her family. Suddenly, out of the corner of her eye, Claire spotted movement. A figure, cloaked in shadows, stepped into the clearing, eyes brimming with intensity. Not waiting to confirm his intentions, she instinctively grabbed Luke's arm. "Who are you?" Claire shouted, her voice stronger than she felt. The figure paused, lips curling into a faint smile, yet something about it sent her instincts screaming. "I've been waiting for you," he said, his voice flowing like silk. Her pulse raced with fear and curiosity. Who was this man, and what did he know about the secrets buried in their past? Luke instinctively took a step closer to Claire, shielding her without hesitation. "Stay back," he commanded, eyes narrowing. Claire's thoughts spiraled. Everything was about to change, and she felt the weight of that truth pressing down. Could this stranger offer the answers she sought, or was he another layer of the labyrinth she had stumbled into? The figure's smile broadened, and Claire's heart lurched with both dread and a flicker of hope. "You don't know it yet, but I have the answers you've been looking for." And in that moment, Claire realized the path ahead was paved with both mystery and danger. Would she dare to follow him into the depths of her family's past, or would she turn back, leaving secrets undisturbed? The moment hung heavy in the air, waiting for her choice. Claire's heart thundered in her ears. Time seemed to slow as the man's words hung in the air, wrapping around her like mist. The sunlight filtered through the trees, casting ghostly patterns on the ground, but Claire's focus remained solely on the man, his figure cloaked in mystery. "What do you know?" Claire asked, her voice steadier than she felt. Luke's grip on her arm tightened, a silent reminder of their pact for caution. The stranger's confidence felt unsettling, yet a part of her felt drawn to him, as if he held the key to everything she had been searching for. The man took a step forward, the ground crunching softly beneath his boots. "You're more connected to this place than you realize, Claire. Your family's history runs deeper than what you've been told." His words struck a nerve, and Claire instinctively took a half step back. "What do you mean?" The man nodded subtly, his sharp gaze piercing through her defenses. "It's not just any diary. It's a map to the secrets hidden in these woods. I've seen it." Luke shifted beside her, eyes wary. "How do you know about the journal? Who are you?" The stranger met Luke's gaze without flinching. "Someone who can help uncover the truth buried in these woods. Follow me, and I will show you." Claire exchanged a glance with Luke, her mind racing. Trust felt like a dangerous game, especially with someone who appeared out of nowhere. But the allure of answers was stronger than the fear that gnawed at her insides. "What if it's a trap?" Luke interjected, his protectiveness palpable. "It's your choice," the stranger replied, raising his hands in a gesture of sincerity. "But there are dark forces at play here, and they don't want the truth to come to light." The weight of his words settled over Claire, like a dense fog. The excitement of rediscovering her family's secrets was overshadowed by an unsettling fear. What if the truth was more dangerous than they had imagined? "Why do you care?" Claire asked, squaring her shoulders, determined to get answers. "What's in it for you?" The man hesitated, a flicker of emotion flashing across his face. "Because I've been where you are now, I've lost too much to let history repeat itself. You deserve to know who you are, and what your family has sacrificed." Claire's breath caught in her throat. A memory teased at the edges of her mind, stories her grandmother had murmured late at night, of battles fought and sacrifices made, whispers of an ancient lineage that had been silenced. "Claire, think about this," Luke urged, his voice low but firm. We don't know anything about him. We can find out more together. But what if he is right? Claire countered, her heart racing at the thought of hidden truths. What if we are meant to uncover this? The tension coiled tightly around them like a spring ready to unfurl, each second thick with possibility and peril. I want to force you, the stranger said, his voice softening. But I promise you, the journey will reveal things that could change everything you believe about your family and yourself. Claire took a deep breath, the weight of the decision heavy on her chest. She felt like she was standing at the edge of a cliff, the air electric with uncertainty about what lies below. Turning to Luke, she searched his face. His concern mirrored her own, yet behind it was a flicker of resolve. The bond they shared was strong. They didn't have to navigate this alone. Together? She asked quietly, determination burning in her eyes. Luke nodded, though she could see hesitation lingering there. Taking a step towards the stranger, she said, "We'll follow you, but know this: if you lead us into danger." "I promise, I have only the best intentions," he interrupted, an earnestness in his voice. With each step they took towards the unknown, Claire felt the weight of her family's past pressing closer. What secrets were waiting just beyond the gate, and how would that knowledge reshape the framework of her life? As they passed through the rusted gate, the air shifted, and Claire felt an electric thrill of fear and excitement. The path ahead twisted, like a darkened tunnel where secrets beckoned. What awaited them in the depths of her family's history? Would they emerge unscathed, or would darkness swallow them whole? As they crossed the threshold of the gate, Claire felt her heart race in rhythm with the footsteps echoing through the dense underbrush. With each crunch of leaves, she sensed a part of her past unraveling, stretching out ahead of them like an ancient map previously hidden. Luke followed closely, his protective demeanor a silent assurance. "Are you sure you want to do this?" he whispered, casting quick glances around as if danger lurked behind every tree. Claire nodded, her throat thick with adrenaline. There is no turning back now. The stranger led them deeper into the woods, where shadows clung to trunks like secrets yearning to be told. Finally, he stopped at a gnarled tree, its twisted roots creeping across the forest floor like fingers grasping for the air. "Here is a place of power," he said, gesturing towards the base. "What you seek lies beneath." A thick tension hung in the air, the weight of history pressed around them, and Claire's jaw tightened. She knelt by the roots and dug her fingers into the earth. "What do you mean?" The stranger knelt beside her, his face a mixture of anticipation and resolve. "Your ancestors buried their truths here. They were protectors of something significant, potent enough to change lives." As if responding to the weight of his words, Claire felt her pulse quicken, an intoxicating blend of fear and thrill coursing through her. She could almost feel the hidden legacy thrumming beneath her fingertips. "Without facing these truths, you risk repeating the mistakes of the past," the stranger continued. "I can help guide you, but the choice to unveil them must come from you." "And if we uncover darkness?" Luke interjected, a note of skepticism in his voice. "Then you will confront it together, and emerge stronger," the stranger replied confidently. Swallowing hard, Claire took a deep breath, focusing again on the earth beneath her. She had come here for answers, for her children's future. The stakes had never been higher. With each passing moment, she felt a connection growing, her family's legacies entwined with the land, ready to reveal their stories. Claire dug deeper, heart pounding, until her fingers hit something solid. Startled, she withdrew them. "What is it?" "It's a box," the stranger replied, excitement sparking in his eyes. "Keep going." Claire felt a rush, that feeling when hope tangles joy and fear into one overwhelming moment. She powered through heavy soil, pulling at the box until it came loose, the weight of generations held within. It was aged and ornately designed, caked with dirt, but unmistakably tactile against her palm. "Open it," Luke urged, moving closer. With trembling hands, Claire brushed the dirt away, revealing a latch. Taking a breath, she released it, and the lid creaked open, revealing stacks of letters, journals, and something glimmering, a locket nestled within the contents, the initials TS embossed on its surface. She picked up the locket, feeling the cool metal against her skin. "This was my grandfather's," she murmured. As she rifled through the letters, snippets of stories leaped out, accounts of struggles, love, and the very sacrifices that had shaped her lineage. One letter, yellowed with age, made her gasp as she read. "The heartland must remain protected. The true power lies within." What does it say? Luke leaned in closer, curiosity painted on his features. "It's a warning," Claire explained, her heart pounding. "A note about protecting the heartland and the treasures hidden here." The stranger nodded, his eyes sparkling with understanding. "You see, this land isn't just land, it holds your family's essence, your heritage." Suddenly, the behavior of the stranger shifted, revealing a flash of intensity that sent a shiver through her spine. The air grew heavy, pressing in around them, as if the forest itself held its breath. Had they stumbled upon something too profound for them to grasp? "Now you must decide," the stranger continued, his voice low. "Will you preserve this knowledge, guide your family towards these legacies, or will you let the weight of the past crush you?" Claire glanced at Luke, their shared fear palpable. The choice lay heavy before her. "I want to protect it. For my children and for the family we've lost." Luke nodded in agreement, and a calm resolve settled in her heart. "Then let us ensure what is meant to be protected is never threatened again," the stranger said. "And together, you'll see the transformations that await you. Trust in the journey despite the darkness." With the old box clutched between them, Claire felt a rush of warmth. She was no longer a shadow of despair but a beacon of hope. They would face whatever was buried alongside their heritage, not alone but united as a family. "I'm ready," she whispered, feeling the strength of generations alive within her. "Whatever comes next, we will confront it together." As they stood under the weathered tree, the wind rustled around them, like an echo of those who came before. In that moment, Claire knew this was the tipping point, a new chapter unfolding for them and their shared future. Hand in hand, they walked deeper into the heartland, ready to unearth everything their family had fought to protect, illuminating truths that would bind them closer together than ever before. Claire felt an overwhelming rush of gratitude. Life was full of transformations, and they were ready to embrace them. Now, more than ever, she understood, the journey was as important as the destination. And as they moved forward, ready to carve their own paths, she knew she would always hold her family past and present close to her heart. You need to subscribe now to catch the next incredible stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more people. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this emotional ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread the hope together.